Jon Stewart notably already weighed in on Jay Leno giving advice to late-night comics that they shouldn't be so partisan. They shouldn't turn off some of the potential viewers. Leno had said, why shoot for just half of the audience all the time? You know, why not try to get the whole? I mean, I like to bring people into the big picture, and Jon Stewart was not a fan of that. Well, now we have John Oliver, who's not only against this idea by Leno, but also the idea that it seems like it's so close to Stephen Colbert being fired that it seems like this is a battlefield that if you're a comic, particularly a comic that deals with the news, that deals with politics, you kind of have to engage in this thing. And so he has. He says, who thinks that way? Executives? Comedy can't be for everyone. It's inherently subjective. So yeah, when you do stand-up, some people try to play to a broader audience, which is completely legitimate. Others decide not to, which is equally legitimate. I guess I don't think it's a question of what you should do because I don't think comedy is prescriptive in that way. It's just what people want. And the thing is, like, you know, if you're just doing stand-up, you could talk about literally anything. You could talk about your life history, you could talk about relationships, you could talk about parenting, sex, whatever you want. But if you're doing late night, like, for at least the last 15, 20 years, the news is kind of a thing. I mean, like, I would argue even back in the heyday of Jay Leno, it was. Maybe not so much for him, but it certainly was for others. People have an expectation of that. They care about this stuff. To not talk about it, just to maybe, and probably not even, bring in some viewers from the other side just seems like, honestly, like a dereliction of the duty that people at least expect you to have. And I will also remind you, it's not like Jay Leno never talked about the news. Remember, he did countless Monica Lewinsky jokes or whatever. Was that trying to play to everyone at that point? So it just seems sort of convenient that now that you're not the one that has to take these difficult stances, that has to keep up with everything that's going on, in these much more difficult, fraught political times, that all of a sudden you're like, well, nobody should say anything. Well, it's not your job anymore, dude. There are other people, I think, trying under very difficult circumstances, probably like with Stephen Colbert, like with John Oliver and Jon Stewart, getting incredible pressure from their corporations, probably to back off of some of the stuff because of mergers and all of that sort of thing. And of course, the Donald Trump administration's full willingness to meddle and get engaged in all this. I think they're doing an admirable thing. And Jay Leno doesn't have to agree with them, but he doesn't necessarily have to weigh in at all.